Hello and good evening to those of you who are here. We're getting underway shortly here with our best of three for tonight here in Division 2. I went up until just a few minutes ago when I was preparing thinking, alright, got another Div 3 cast. But no, it's Div 2. We're in Div 2, which is great, getting some variety here. And we're going to be hopping into a match between two pretty close teams. If we go ahead and pull up the standings here, we got House of Chez on the left. You might know them from the Nexus Gaming series where they have played for a number of seasons. They're currently sitting at 1-4. They did have one win other than that, or those 5 matches, but that was a forfeit, so I did not elect to include that. So they're sitting at 4-8 in map score. On the other side, Tricky Gooses currently number 13. So doing similarly, they had a bye week, so both of these teams have had one kind of win, which was more of a technicality. So for the standings, this is kind of what we're looking at right now. So both of them have been able to take maps off of a lot of teams, but struggling to kind of close out series and get the final win here. So I'll be excited to see how that turns out. If you go ahead and look here at our maps selections so far, we have the coin flip going to decide that House of Chez would get the map pick and Tricky Gooses would get first pick. House of Chez went ahead and banned out Dragonshire and Garden of Terror, whereas we saw Tricky Gooses banning out Battlefield of Eternity and Infernal Shrines. Alright, sorry about that. One moment, had to communicate to the teams there for a second. But so far, so good. Taking out, at least from the side of Tricky Gooses, some of the more commonly played maps here. So I'll be excited to see what we get. Already starting with Cursed Hollow, that's something that you don't see too frequently. At least not at this level of play. That's something that I see mostly when we're looking at the highest levels of play, looking at Division 1, looking at Division S or the Heroic Division in NGS. So it'll be very interesting to see how these teams play around it. You're going to be looking for a lot of globals. You're going to be looking for macro pressure, as well as a strong ability to poke, stall out over the objective, and also be able to sustain over that objective. So you're looking at a lot of sustained fighting as well as macro pressure. So heroes like Falstad and Dahaka are known for their prowess on this map thanks to their being global, but you also see stuff like Li Ming potentially coming out for the poke, Junkrat occasionally, but a little bit less so. The macro pressure that you're looking for is more your ability to maneuver around the map and take camps, so more so than being able to necessarily clear waves quickly. So other heroes you might see, Hanzo, really popular on this map due to the fact that in W build he is able to take down bosses faster than anyone else in the game pretty much, which gives you a really powerful advantage there, because whenever your boss is up, if the enemy team's boss is up and they're at it, you know you can do it faster than they can. Other heroes, Abathur always has to be mentioned. He of course did get hit by the changes with the XP globes, but since then he has seen a resurgence, and I feel like personally, as someone who plays Abathur a decent amount, I think he's very strong right now still, and I would be very happy to see him. He's one of my favorite heroes to play and to see played, so hoping for something fun like that in this first map here on Cursed Hollow, as we'll hopefully be going ahead and getting started soon here. I guess I can go ahead and get my team names ready, since normally I find that I end up doing that during the draft and then ends up looking bad because I'm late to the show and not giving the best of commentary. So hopefully though we'll get our last member in here shortly and we can go ahead and have ourselves a wonderful match. All right. Just missing that one member here. Look, oh, looks like they are here, so we should be ready to start in any moment now. I believe the first pick is currently set to the wrong team. It is, so I'm going to tell them to take care of that. But, okay, so maybe they weren't here. Not quite ready yet. They were invited, but haven't joined the lobby yet. So hopefully we can get them in here. It's gotta feed the hamsters, they're saying. So I just gotta make sure that you're able to get that done. Alright, but we did see a follow come in. Thank you, GTS Thylon, for that. I appreciate the follow. Hopefully my casting will be to your enjoyment, so you will continue to come on out. Obviously, there's lots of competition right now. We've got a lot of great casters for North America. Bahamut, of course, dominates the numbers very frequently. But I'm always happy to see that people are coming out to see their favorite teams play, regardless the casters. So that is appreciated. All right. Finally, it looks like we do have them in the lobby. Okay, perfect. So we should be able to get started any moment now. Just waiting on our teams to be ready, and then we can go. So again, Cursed Hollow, looking for maneuvering around the map, looking for poke during team fights. Although honestly, when it comes to team fighting over the objective on this map, because of the positioning of it, always away from the lane, you can draft a number of comps. You can look for very aggressive divey comps. You can look for just endless poke with a super strong front line to just sit there and take everything and make it really hard to get to the back line, which is just being super annoying. Alright. Looks like we're going to go ahead and get started into our first draft of the night. Any moment now. Well, everyone said R, so we're just waiting on the host to hit start game. And here we are. Alright, so like I said, there's a lot of macro focus around maneuvering around the map, being able to push very effectively, take camps very effectively. So we'll have to see how that is addressed with the bans, as well as what meta kind of bans come out. Zool, of course, ever since his rework, has been extremely powerful and a likely candidate for that ban. So we'll have to see if he gets respected by either of these teams in the bans, or if he gets let through as not quite able to double soak and create the macro pressure that he is known for on this map, but he is still very strong in team fights, which is always something to be aware of. We're going to see Li Ming banned out immediately, though, and that makes sense. That's a strong hero for poking around, and if you know that the other team has a good Li Ming player, if you've done your prep, unlike the caster tonight, then maybe you're seeing that and you just want to respect that and get rid of it. We're going to see Greymane taken out. Like I said, camp taking is very, very much valued, and he is one of the best, so going to remove that from the options here for the Tricky Gooses. Second bans coming in now before we get into the first pick phase. Zool and Deathwing are still both not addressed, and it looks like we're going to see Varian taken out, so they don't want to see the taunt blow up composition that if you know where House of Chez came from, they came from Division C in NGS, where taunt Varian blow up comps were huge last season. Everyone was playing it. And we're going to see Garrosh banned, so Zool left up, interestingly enough. We'll have to see if that ends up biting someone in the butt, or if it's going to be like some of my previous matches where we just saw Zool ignored. He just went through the entire draft. Neither team really wanted to play him, so he just got to go through. But no, he's going to get picked up. Not entirely unexpected there. The response going to be Johanna. So you've got the blinds, you've got a solid front wall to be able to try and just body Zool away. And then you've got Mephisto as well. This is something that I know House of Chez likes to play on this map. They played it against me, and they can get very aggressive with it. And it also is nice into Zool because you can kind of bait out his route if he isn't paying attention. If he puts it onto you while you're out with your shade, you'll just get back and be safe behind your front wall with the Johanna there. We're going to see ETC coming out as well as Stukov for the side of Tricky Gooses. So looking for a solid kind of AoE team fight, lock him down and keep him stuck there. Team fight here for the side of the Tricky Gooses. Gonna try and take advantage of maybe knowing where that Mephisto will go back if they're able to be aggressive and push past Johanna. Ban's up now, and lots of assassins still have not been taken. We're gonna see Jaina banned out. Makes sense. As a mage, she is very powerful in both camp clear and wave clear and team fighting. So really just all around solid hero and always a safe ban. Now we could see a healer ban potentially coming out here, although that role hasn't been choked much, so maybe we see sustained damage getting taken away here, or an offlaner even. No, we're going to see Malfurion banned, and that's fine as well. Malfurion, one of the strongest healers right now. In fact, I would say he's probably the strongest healer in the modern meta, so they're just going to get rid of it.
My blades are yours.
Alright, so we're going to see Deckard and Sonya picked up there. Sonya going to be able to be aggressive in the off lane, try to push in really aggressively. And Deckard, known for being strong around setting up his healing potions, setting up, really zoning out team fights that are where he's able to prepare. So we'll have to watch, see if they're able to do just that, make their way to the objective nice and early to make sure that they are set up to be able to have an advantage in team fights. We're going to see Lunara and Falstad picked up here, and that's a lot of push pressure, as well as, like I said, the global there from Falstad, as well as the potential global in the stage dive from ETC. So that is a lot of sudden macro pressure that's coming up, and if you look at the side of House of Chez, they have no real global, they don't have the craziest wave clear. Ooh, gonna finish it out with a Zeratul. So that's something that, when you have a stealth hero, it does kind of serve like a global in that when they're missing, you never really are certain where they are until suddenly they're on top of you. So able to put fear maybe into the enemy team. And we'll have to see how it works out, as maybe we'll also see Void Prison setting up a Mephisto combo, or maybe we'll see picks onto this double squishy backline here. I gotta say, looking at these comps, I think that teamfight wise, I really like what House of Chez has, but looking at the overall map pressure that Tricky Gooses can put up, I'd have to say that they are probably my favorite to win. Let's go ahead and see what chat thinks. Gonna go ahead and start a poll there. Forgot to start it during the draft, but that is alright, as we're gonna jump into this first map here on Cursed Hollow. Alright, so we've got the dismounting and mounting of the chicken there, and we've got, for the side of House of Chez, Flash playing Mephisto, Ridley on Johanna, the Dude on Zeratul, Chesmix on the Sonya, and still dismounting and remounting Caribou on the back line with Deckard. Against them, they've got the Tricky Gooses, Wise on Lunara, Birdie on the Falstad, very appropriate there. Duck on the ETC, Key playing Stukov, and down in the off lane, Elf Boy playing Zool. We'll have to see if that being let through ends up being a mistake on the side of the of House of Chez, or if the Tricky Gooses are going to be the ones actually falling behind. This looks like a potential gank being set up here, but not going to come out to anything. So the early wave clear in the middle lane going to go in favor of the Tricky Gooses, as we're going to see the laners already out for the side of both teams, really. So looks like maybe an attempt was there to try and get onto the back line, but not really going to come out to anything for the side of House of Chez. I'm going to take a bit of wall damage there. Actually, Caribou on the Decker taking a lot of damage here. Nice power slide followed up by the silence there from Stukov. Does a lot of damage. They are going to be able to sustain up, though, on the side of House of Chez. And now we've got Mephisto very low. He's getting caught, doing a lot of damage back, but he is going to be first blood here as he falls. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, looks like Zeratul been struggling a bit against the oppressive Zul. Now going off to the siege camp with the help of Lunara and a little bit of lag there. But it looks like Falstad and Sonya trading out decently evenly into each other here. Looks like Shadow Hunter, I believe it is going to be the level 1 here for Zeratul, so is going to be going into a bit of a combo build here, looking to really blow up the backline of the Tricky Gooses. Gonna see the siege camp also being taken here by House of Chez. I'll be interested to see if they decide to pick it up right now or if they're gonna wait, as we do have the first objective being in the bottom lane. They are just gonna grab it now, try and get that pressure into Falstad. Dare him to step up into the Sonya. And the Bruiser camp now being started for the side of Tricky Gooses. They did lose, I believe, a little bit of soak in the bottom lane, but the kill and really just better rotations here maybe have kept them pretty even here in the XP. We've actually got 3 members of House of Chez looking to help in the bottom lane, and also just going to be there for the objective. But Zul putting out so much damage as he does in his current iteration with the aid of the camp is able to just push into the side of House of Chez, and look, all 3 of them below half. Just from that, Deckard's going to have to use up all his potions here to heal up his team. The tap even being used for flash here on the Mephisto. The Bruiser camp was picked up here for the side of Tricky Gooses, but not House of Chez, so Sonya's going to clear that out in the mid while we see Falstad still in the top lane. His global won't be enough to quite get him all the way down, so we'll have to see what exactly happened. As for now, we have a 4v4 here in the bottom lane. Early game, I think, definitely in favor of Tricky Gooses. Zeratul and Mephisto both scaled very hard into the late game. So we'll have to see how they play around this, as we do have Falstad coming in. Flash on the Mephisto, using his shade to get a lot of damage onto the backline. Wise and T falling pretty low, but Ridley now eating the root. Gonna be alright for the moment as Chesmix on the Sonya comes in, making this a full 5v5. Looking at XP though, level 7 will be here faster for the side of Tricky Gooses, but they're zoned out, and the first tribute gonna go over to House of Chez. Well timed there, forcing Tricky Gooses off just in time to be able to secure it. Chesmix in the mid lane, gonna get harassed here a little bit, but not much gonna come of it. Looks like maybe just looking for a bit of push here, which Lunara is able to do exceptionally well thanks to her level 4 here. Nature's Culling pretty much doubles her trait damage. Well, does double, even more so than doubling the trait damage there. Already in the top lane is Elf Boy on the Zul, while looks like we're going to see the side of House of Chez looking for this camp here. So maybe giving up a bit of soak and a bit of siege pressure, but looking for the aggression. That being said, a nice gank onto the Sonya, and they're going to take her down, which should secure them this tribute pretty much for free. Falstad not even going to come up. He's taking a tower in the bottom lane. And now we're seeing quite a bit of a lead coming up for the side of Tricky Gooses in the levels. They should be able to have 10 by the next tribute ahead of House of Chez, so we'll have to see how these two teams play around it. Looks like for the moment we're going to see House of Chez being aggressive, pushing in with the spell aura of the Bruiser camp in the middle lane. And they're going to be able to get pretty good damage in here. Looks like they're taking down a tower already. And Flash on the Mephisto, able to be aggressive without being too worried about it. Now that we have level 7, that is a big spike here for Zeratul. Secret in the Dark, gonna allow him to be a lot more aggressive with his engages here. Look for the explosive burst that he has, potentially onto heroes like Falstad and Lunara. But as expected, we do have the next tribute spawning here in a favorable position already for the side of Tricky Gooses. With them also having 10, I would expect this to be pretty much just given over. And it looks like it will be. Looking at 10s, we have Stage Dive, as I mentioned, might come up. We also have the Leaping Strike, the Massive Shove, the Mighty Gust, and the Poison Nova. So lots of engage and peel abilities here for the side of Tricky Gooses, able to really force into or away from a fight whenever they want to. That being said, level 10s are coming in now for House of Chez. We're going to see the Stay a While and Listen for Deckard. We're going to see the Durance of Hate for Mephisto. Might of the Nerazim picked up for Zeratul. As well as Leap for Sonya, actually. And Falling Sword, so the double jump onto the backline here for the frontliners of House of Chez. Both bosses being started, but it looks like House of Chez was significantly faster, and while it is going to get scouted out by Lunara, they're going to be able to secure it a bit faster, actually. The burn here, much faster with Falstad and Lunara than with Zeratul and Mephisto, but we did see House of Chez taking the early start onto it. And now, with the boss pushing in the top lane, which was already weakened by Siege Giants and by Falstad, and now being weakened up even more by the double global, we're going to have to see House of Chez make sure that they get this, as well as trying to get as much value as they can with their boss. Zul getting rooted, stunned by the boss, taking a lot of damage, and he's going to drop. Stay a While and Listen even being used, but to not much follow-up there. Looks like Lunara going to eat some harassment there from Zeratul, but in the top lane, the double global saying, alright, Zul's dead, so we're not going to get this tribute, but that's alright. We have a fort and a mostly healthy boss here pushing into the keep, whereas our team's going to be able to defend their boss while only losing the fort. So overall, a pretty favorable trade here, and it looks like level 16 will be coming in very soon here for our right team, the Tricky Gooses. As expected, we are going to see the boss fall here pretty swiftly. Falstad using his bribe there to go ahead and take this early siege camp, help his team out there. And now this is the tribute that's going to matter, but looking at the talents, we have a 13 advantage, which is really big. We have the Spell Shield coming in for Lunara, as well as the Violent Reaction for Stukov, coming out and getting 2. Going to get booped out of it, though, by ETC. Gust coming in, stunning them into the wall. Sonya's going to be the first to fall with the Stage Dive coming out onto Deckard. Flash on Mephisto, gonna die next. That's 2 dead for the side of House of Chez. Ridley on Johanna trying to get out as well, but being pursued by 4 members. Gonna fall. No, maybe not. Deckard with a great potion, but it is gonna ultimately be Johanna falling, and Deckard now with the curse coming out, caught as well. That's 4 kills for the sides of Tricky Gooses. They're going to take this mid fort and start pushing in against a keep. Very well played there. The level 13 advantage is really important there. Gives them not only the stat advantage, but the talent advantage, which started that entire fight for them. And under this spell aura, Mephisto's going to have a really hard time defending, even if he does get a nice Durance of Hate off there. Not quite able to do enough damage to kill Key because of the 20 spell armor he gets there. And a nice burst coming out as well. Bottom fort falling, and Elfboy on the Zul using his Skeletal Warriors to push in. All 3 keeps now being assailed, and this is a very early structural lead here, and almost level 16s coming in for the side of the Tricky Gooses and Caribou. Deckard caught out on the wrong side of the map. He's going to go down, and level 16s are here, as well as a potential team fight. Looking to punish Ridley a little bit there, but not going to get the kill. As 2 forts, or 2 keeps getting low, but not quite going to fall yet. Ooh, Flash. Stage Dive comes out, the root comes out. As soon as Mephisto comes back, he gets hit by the silence, not going to get rooted by Stukov, so that is nice for him. And actually, maybe turning it around onto Duck on the ETC, he's going to go ahead and fall. But in the top lane, this keep is very likely to fall thanks to this catapult. Decker doing his best, but he doesn't have the best clear, is going to be able to get it out though. So two very, very low keeps for House of Chez, but they're still alive, which is super important because that gives them so much comeback potential. They don't have the constant catapults against them yet. So if they can just keep those lanes pushed out decently enough, they don't have to worry about losing core percent or losing the keeps during the objective. That being said, there is a double global, which they do have to be aware of here, as they're going to push into the middle lane here with their own bruiser camp. Do need to be careful though, as 4 members are here for the side of Tricky Gooses, ETC coming in as well. And down 16, they're just going to go ahead and get out there. That being said, like I said, House of Chez spikes really hard in the late game. They've got the Sentence to Death for Zeratul. They have the Static Field for Mephisto, able to do so much damage here. And it looks like Tricky Gooses wanted the fight before 16, but not going to be able to get it. Luckily, they did not get caught by the Durance of Hate there from Flash on the Mephisto. So, going to just go ahead and disengage. Now in the mid lane, as I said, if these waves are ever left alone and pushed in, this is damage going onto the keep. Flash should be able to prevent the keep from falling, but with Falstad and ETC available as globals, if House of Chez wants to get their own objective here, get their own curse, they're going to have to likely give up one or both of those keeps. That being said, looks like we are going to have ETC at least staying with his team for now. Going for the slide and the immediate Poison Nova coming out from Zul. Leap goes out onto the backline as well as the Falling Sword. Both teams getting low. Zeratul is going to be the first to drop. Key on the Stukov, insanely low, but manages to get out thanks to a great gust. Flash on the Mephisto, tries to stop the counter engage, but gets caught and falls as well. That's both of the DPS falling for the side of House of Chez. And Caribou a bit late with the Stay a While and Listen. Sonya's going to fall, and it looks like Deckard is likely to fall as well. Ridley on Johanna will try to run, but these are pretty decent death timers, and with the invade onto the boss, Tricky Gooses might be looking to end with this push. As Elf Boy, using his immense wave clear to go ahead and push in the lane. Going to see the boss taking down, and now this is a push with 20 talents close. Gonna need a few kills to get them, but still very devastating potential here. House of Chez needs to make a miracle defense to be able to keep this game alive. Mid lane, we did see the keep fall thanks to Elf Boy there, and the keep already down in bottom lane before the objective or the boss even gets there. A huge combo comes out from Mephisto, but he's going to take a ton of damage himself, and Sonya going to fall. Ridley using the Falling Sword to escape there. They're going to try and clear this boss, but the entire team of Tricky Gooses is pushing onto the core. A nice wind tunnel coming out as level 20s are here for the side of Tricky Gooses, and the core is just falling too fast. This is going to be it. This is game number 1, going in favor of the Tricky Gooses. GG. Very nice game there for our first map of the evening. Mephisto put out so much damage, actually even topping the siege for his team, but was not able to quite keep the dream alive. Falling behind so early made it very hard for Zeratul and Mephisto to secure those kills because of the 3 levels stat advantage. That's 12% or so, a bit more health that we saw the red team having above the blue team, and it allowed Lunara and Falstad in the backline to be able to survive. Stukov as well, we saw in the fight over the bottom tribute there when House of Chez was looking for a curse. He survived with double digits. If he didn't have those 3 levels advantage, he would have fallen there, and that might have been a turned fight in favor of House of Chez. So, despite playing it close in the early game, or doing their best to play it close in the early game, Bit too reliant maybe there on the late game potential. Going to end up dropping the first map here. Very well played though from Tricky Gooses, using the globals very well to apply pressure. They weakened structures very early, which allowed their curse to be destructive and for them to ultimately take the win there. Alright, let me go ahead and check, see what we have for our next map pick. House of Chez going to decide that they want to take us to Tomb of the Spider Queen here. So Tricky Gooses did take that first map. We'll have to see, are they going to be able to finish this out in a 2-0? I think House of Chez definitely can take a map here, at least. I think they played it a bit rough in the first game. I think maybe we're a bit... they seem to try to kind of over-predict the play of Tricky Gooses. We saw Johanna and Mephisto party bushing for solid 40 seconds, which just allowed Tricky Gooses to take almost an entire tower just immediately with the first wave of the game. So on a map like this, I think they played a bit more standard, and I think they have a good chance of coming out on top, tying up the series so that we can get a game 3. Of course, that's my caster bias there. Always hoping for the game 3. We'll have to see what actually happens here, as both teams played quite well. Alright, just going to be waiting here on a lobby. Hopefully we will get into that soon here. Looks like neither of these teams made the lobby quite yet. Should hopefully see that soon. But yeah, I think on this map we're going to see a bit less potential for value from globals, which was definitely something that made a huge advantage there for the side of Tricky Gooses. So if we're able to see a bit more macro control from the side of House of Chez, I think the early lead that we saw come out, getting the early level 10s, about a level advantage there. Without that, I think we see a much closer game here on Tomb. We'll have to see if I'm right or not. All right. Sorry, one moment. All right. So, like I said, I think we need to see a bit more attention to the macro side of things here from House of Chez. They definitely struggled there because they fell so behind on the macro. Losing structures early makes it really hard to defend a curse, and the fact that they pretty much wiped there right before the curse as well definitely made it very hard. Great positioning, great rotations from the side of Tricky Gooses to enable that kind of play, but it'll be a lot harder for them to do the same thing here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So I think we see a nice close game 2 here coming out from these teams, and I'm excited to see it. All right. Like I said, both these teams have had pretty rough seasons, sitting towards the lower end of their division, but they have been able to take a lot of maps. Both of these teams taking maps off of other teams when they're able to play to their strengths, when they're able to hit their get their comps and play them well. So I definitely don't think this is a game where, even if we do see a 2-0, I think we see it a lot closer here maybe than the last game. Thank you to Key for the follow. I appreciate it. Hopefully we see a nice cast tonight, and well, hopefully my casting tonight is satisfactory is what I mean to say, and we see hope to see you and other teams more in the future as I continue to do casting. I don't know where I was going with that. I started a sentence without knowing where I was gonna end it there, but it turned out all right. Alright, looks like we have an R from both teams here. Should hopefully be hopping into our draft here. And indeed we are. Here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Tricky Goose is currently up 1, but gonna see if it can get turned around. Or if we have a 2-game series tonight. Which, not saying that's a bad thing. I think both these teams, I think either of these teams could take the win. But I always like to see a Game 3 regardless of who takes the win in the end. Alright, Gul'dan banned out immediately, as he's going to be able to give a lot of macro pressure, and of course we're going to see the Zool taken away. After that first game, I don't think they would dare let that through again. He just does so much damage, even if you ignore the fact that he has wonderful wave clear and lane pressure, which on this map is much, much scarier. So they're just going to say, no thank you. Get rid of that, please. Alright, and then our last pick here, or last ban here for the side of Tricky Goose is going to be the Zeratul. So they did feel that that warranted some respect. So well played there by the dude on the Zeratul, harassing the backline. And we're going to see another respect ban coming out in the Lunara ban.
The crusade calls.
And it's going to be Johanna this time for the first pick. No one is surprised. It is Tomb of the Spider Queen after all. So getting that wave clear is just so important. Went ahead and started a poll. See what people think. They can wait a bit. It's a 3-minute poll. But see whose draft people like. See which team people expect to take the win here. I think both teams playing it well so far. We're going to see Mal'Ganis coming out as the tank, trying to respond with another bulky frontliner here, as they do not have the Johanna this game, and taking the Anduin. So a bit of a safer hero, going to be able to save the squishies or low health friendlies who are caught out. With that, we are going to see the Greymane, which was banned out, and the Sonya, which was picked. So 2 heroes which were denied to Tricky Goose's last game, going to be picked up by them this game. We'll have to see how that turns out for them. They have a lot of camp and macro pressure with these heroes. So I think there's definitely a lot of potential, especially for aggressive play here. If they're able to chain CC into the Mal'Ganis, even he is not safe from this kind of composition. You've got the potential for a bullet from Greymane or go for the throat, so you can play into the backline with leap and falling sword like we saw last game, or you can play more for the front line with the bullet. And some more traditional ult choices, I'll say. We're going to see the Jaina banned out again. Gives the wave clear, gives them a strong mage who can burst follow-up, so that's of course just a ban that makes sense. It is taken away a powerful potential pick, and we're going to see the last main, I would say, wave clear mage in Kael'thas now being banned out. So we'll have to see what we're going to have House of Chez going for here. There aren't that many mage options left. Ooh, we're going to see double mage coming out as we have Flash now playing Nazebo. So again, playing for the late game, playing for the stacks, and the dude on Kel'Thuzad. So another very combo-based hero here. We're going to have to see, because that is a pretty squishy backline with no escape potential. Will they be able to survive against the really high potential for aggression here? As we also see Li Ming and even a main healer Uther coming out. So a lot of potential aggression here for our red team. Alright, last pick. We've got the offlaner, so this is the X factor. What is going to be the option? It's Malthael, so another kind of squishy hero, I gotta say. Again, I prefer the draft, I believe, of Tricky Gooses. Like, I think they've just got the more aggressive potential against a very, very squishy backline kind of composition here. And if they're able to pull it off, I think we see them taking this game. That being said, of course, I would love to see a game 3, and we'll have to see who does come out on top in the end here. On 2. All right. That being said, we do have Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad is very much an X Factor kind of hero. He can make or break a team. Against the Uther, he's going to have a bit of a hard time finishing those blow-ups, but we'll have to see if the dude can pull it off. As again, we're going to have our left team here, House of Chez. Will they be able to pull off the reverse sweep or start it here at least? We have the dude on Kel'Thuzad, Ridley on Mal'Ganis, Flash on Nazeebo, Chesmix on Malthael, and Caribou on Anduin. Against them, looking for the opposite, looking for the 2-0, we've got Duck on Johanna, Key on Uther, Wise on Greymane, Birdie on Li Ming, and Elf Boy in the solo lane playing Sonya. Alright. So starting off with the Kel'Thuzad looking for stacks, he does need to get as many as early as he can. It will be very hard for the early game of House of Chez if Tricky Gooses is able to just play around them, not give stacks to the Kel'Thuzad. That being said, that will allow Nazeebo to stack much faster, which will help them out a lot, as he's going to grab all 7 here in a nice double rotation starting. That being said, Caribou in the top lane, getting harassed here a little bit. Zombie Wall going to unfortunately catch Ridley there, so not going to be able to connect the sleep onto the back line. But rotations in this game looking a bit favorable for the side of House of Chez. Tricky Gooses not even really attempting 4-man rotations, as they do not want to stack Kel'Thuzad, and he's still sitting at 0, so doing a good job so far. We also have Toads at level 1 for Flash on the Nazeebo, so that is another quest that they need to be able to land those to get their main power spikes. So we'll have to see if they're able to do that, as we do have a very nice play here in the early game with the early split. Greymane immediately going for the bottom siege camp, just trying to play around those stacks that we need to see if House of Chez wants to be able to take a map here. Ooh, the sleep coming out. Gonna get interrupted by Uther's stun here. Uther, a very good hero for going into that Mal'Ganis as well, thanks to the fact that he can just point and click stun whenever Mal'Ganis wants to try and get an engage there. Ooh, the aggression now coming out onto Caribou on the Anduin. Gonna try and heal themselves. Actually cancels it. Are they gonna be able to get out? No. Ooh, yeah. That just hurts to see. Anduin so close to saving himself. If he had channeled that heal for a tiny bit longer, would have been able to get out, but Greymane going to finish the kill there onto them. That being said, not all is lost so far. Nazeebo stacking very well, sitting at 45 stacks already, only 4 levels into the game. Uther's been stacking his auto attack quest, which is something you don't see quite so often, as it does require Uther to just kind of stand there auto attacking something, which is not normally where you want to see him, especially after his health nerfs. But we will see if that chain stun dive will be able to work here for the side of Tricky Gooses, as we have another stack coming in for Kel'Thuzad here onto Key onto Uther. House of Chez doing a really nice job playing around the Mal'Ganis sleeps, using them to set up Kel'Thuzad. As we have both teams for maybe the first time fighting now 4v4. We're going to see Harass coming onto Ridley. He's going to turn around and sleep Greymane, but he's taking a lot of damage. A nice combo comes out onto Uther and Greymane there. Some stacks coming in for Kel'Thuzad, sitting at 9 out of the 30 he needs. 9 out of the 15 he'll need for the ice block there. Looks like so far Chesmix been doing pretty well in the solo lane against Elfboy here on the Sonya, who's going to be rotating into the middle lane potentially, but now turning onto the Malthael there. And both of these teams are kind of playing around each other, but I expect we see a lot more decisive fighting here now, as we are going to see both teams, having a potential turn-in. It is going to be almost secured here for House of Chez, 47 out of 50, but the Bruiser Camp was picked up by Tricky Gooses, so opting for a more defensive play here. More willing to give away that turn-in. And now, huge orb hits Caribou. And now it looks like maybe House of Chez is going to have to turn around. As Elf Boy rotating in as well. It's 5v4 here in favor of Tricky Gooses. Caribou also getting low. But the disengage comes out in time. And Malthael securing the bottom lane. Gonna get the turn in for his team. So no Bruiser pushing in with the objective here for the side of Tricky Gooses. With that being said, we're gonna see. Kel'Thuzad only at 10 stacks right now, so not doing so hot. Toad Quest for Nazeebo only at 4 stacks out of the 40 he needs there. So again, not doing too great. Now a huge condemn coming out from the side of Duck on the Johanna, and we're gonna see Li Ming though caught out, going too aggressively in for the Calamity. Gonna drop a few seconds there. But a nice kill. That comes out just in time for the push here for House of Chez, and that's really nice because they're going to be able to get a lot more aggressive here with Li Ming down. Chesmix pushing in the bottom lane, but that Web Weaver was already taken down, so only the Web Weaver in the top lane is left. But Nazeebo is able to push very effectively with that if he's allowed to. Unfortunately, he is going to be so not quite going to get that much. Ridley on the Mal'Ganis, waiting in the bush to try and turn this. Gonna sleep onto 3. Is the dude gonna be able to get a combo? Not quite, as they're going to wake up there. And now, again, we're just seeing Soak coming out better for the side of the Tricky Gooses. They're up about half a level right now. It's much less of a lead here. But it is a significant one, because it means if they're able to get maybe a kill or two and get their first turn in here, that could be, again, a 10 talent tier with objective. Both teams harassing each other, doing their best to dissuade the other from the turn-in area. But we are going to see the turn-in coming out for Tricky Gooses as Duck grabs it in the bottom lane. Looking for aggression here, but the dude and Flash both get hit by a huge Li Ming combo. Key getting hit by a lot as well, but going to be able to walk out. And now, as I said, level 10's coming in just in time for Tricky Gooses. Again, with this objective push, they're going to grab the Cursed Bullet, the Divine Shield, the Blessed Shield, the Leap again, actually, interestingly enough, and the Wave of Force here. So, as I said, we've got some real potential for aggression, even onto Mal'Ganis, who is generally considered such a bulky frontliner. We do have the Ice Spike potential here for Kel'Thuzad, but he's going to get leaped on, and the pull from Caribou is too late. The level 10 talents just now coming in for House of Chez, but they're down 1. Gargantuan being used for the defense, with Light Bomb, Last Rites, the Shadow Fissure, and Carrion Swarm being picked up for the rest of the ults. And looks like we're going to see Top Fort being the first to fall here as Tricky Gooses pushes in. Ooh, Flash caught out, taking a lot of damage on the Nazeebo. Caribou does not have the pull to save him, and that's going to be the kill onto Nazeebo there. Again, we do need to watch, see how the late game comes out for the side of House of Chez, but they have lost the first fort, and the entire 5-man here pushing in against the towers, even with very few minions. Gonna need to back up now, though. Ooh, Birdie not quite dodging the combo there from Kel'Thuzad. Chesmix gets a nice turn-in for his team here, but the entire turn-in is ready for Tricky Gooses, and it is not going to get interrupted here, it looks like. Ooh, barely caught by Kel'Thuzad there, but this is currently a 4v5 as Malthael is still sitting in the bottom lane. Carrion Swarm going to be used, but Caribou, it takes a big orb, falling quite low. Elf Boy using the leap to jump out, and now with the Blessed Shield coming onto Malthael, that's going to be the first kill in this fight, and the turn-in is once again secured with a hero advantage here for the Tricky Gooses, doing so well at making sure that they are securing kills, securing fights, right before they get their own objective and really taking a huge lead. It really is deja vu for the last game. Gonna have to see if House of Chez can turn it around. So they're gonna start clearing out the top lane here. That is, of course, the boss lane. But red team gonna go ahead and take the fort in mid as a result and start pushing up into the keep here. Nazeebo has stacked his toads a lot more thanks to the objective pushes here, trying to push into the walls. So that is very good for him. Kel'Thuzad also now up to 23 out of the 30 for his spell power that he so very much needs. But a level lead and level 13 talents, all forts down here in favor of Tricky Gooses. And with that, they see the entire team of House of Chez in the bottom lane, clearing out that last web weaver. So they're making a quick rotation to the boss. Gonna pop all of their abilities onto this, and with Greymane, they are going to tear through it. Is scouted out by the side of House of Chez, but it is going to be too little too late. It's gonna fall. And House of Chez just gonna have to look for their own turn in here to try and push back against that. Mal'Ganis actually splitting off to turn in a separate lane here. We can take a look at stats here. Nazeebo currently holding the highest in siege and hero damage for his team, but Li Ming and Sonya on, as well as Greymane actually on the enemy team, all doing more on the hero side of things, really showing a lot of damage coming up here. Ridley tries to get the dive with the light bomb onto the Greymane, but the counter engage from Sonya and Johanna is beautiful. Takes out Anduin, and Mal'Ganis gonna be kind of just trying to ward off the enemy team now as they clear this boss that is pushing into their keep. Level 13s are finally here for them. We're gonna see the ice block for Nazeebo, very useful for him there, but really just quite a big lead, and getting bigger now as there aren't going to be any gems here for our blue team to be able to try and turn it around. If you go ahead and look, they're sitting at just about 20 gems. They're not going to be able to get a turn in for a little bit here, while our red team has quite a few more. That being said, red team right now kind of split. It looks like before 16, House of Chez is looking for aggression. They're looking to try and push in using Nazeebo's zombie wall there. Gonna take some nice damage onto the structures, and they're just saying, you know what? We can keep pushing this if you're gonna let us. We are aware that you are close to turn in, but we can take some structure damage here. We can try and push our way back into this game a little bit. Bruiser Camp again coming out for our red team here. Tricky Gooses, something I've seen consistently between the last game and this game. They're playing around their camps a lot more here, and it has allowed them to get ahead in those rotations consistently against House of Chez here. We'll have to see what exactly comes out now, as we are going to see the bottom siege camp as well as the objective as soon as Greymane can turn in here for the red team. And it seems like we've kind of got House of Chez just playing passive. They're down 16s and willing to just sit back and kind of take this to the chin. Can't say I disagree with that decision, as it is going to be a pretty rough spot for them. Blessed Shield actually getting traded out there for the leap of faith from Anduin. And the Web Weavers now coming in. The lanes are not too far pushed in, which is nice for House of Chez. Malthael is going to be able to defend the bottom lane and likely the mid lane, but the top lane where the keep is already low is what really needs to be a concern to House of Chez. One toad hit needed for Nazeebo, and he's still not getting it. Ult's kind of just coming out haphazardly for the dude, as he also has not quite completed his quests there, and he's getting very low, going to fall to the Greymane. Light Bomb coming out, but the Divine Shield negates the last rites. Very well played there, saving Greymane. Kel'Thuzad respawns, but now it's Malthael who's falling. His gems get picked up, but that is a hero down, which will not be able to respawn here. And in the mid lane, since Malthael did rotate in, this push is going to take down a second keep. Ice Spike's gonna come out for Kel'Thuzad. He's finally got his spell power, and Nazeebo's finally got his Toads. They finally have their main team fighting power spikes pre-20. But Flash getting caught out now, not gonna be able to survive this one, as the entire 5-man collapses onto him. He's gonna use his Ice Block to survive for a few seconds more, but instantly gets popped, and this is gonna be all 3 keeps down for House of Chez. That is, again, just a really effective push. Tricky Goose is doing so good at pushing in, and Greymane gets traded out for Kel'Thuzad. The positioning there is just nowhere is safe for Kel'Thuzad, and Malthael also going to get picked off. Ridley with 40 gems needs to keep himself alive, but with Nazeebo not up for another few seconds, now we're seeing the side of Tricky Gooses focusing onto the core. Level 16's picked up, and we're going to see the Blind as a Bat coming out for Ridley on the Mal'Ganis. Light Bomb gonna whiff, but core's down to 50, down to 30. Are they going to be able to pull it off? They're not able to catch the side of Tricky Gooses as they're just being rotated around, and that's going to be game number 2 going to the Tricky Gooses. GG. Very well played from them. Just consistently getting ahead in their ability to just push in those lanes and do so at an effective time. So well done from them. Should be able to hopefully get an interview here in a moment. But if you look at the stats, again, just the stats spell out their own story. Just, I think this late game reliance, the stacking reliance for House of Chez consistently punished them, as Tricky Gooses just played so well in the early game, always getting a level lead, always getting a structure lead, and coming out on top in our second game here. We're going to see if we can get an interview here. That's why we're pausing for a moment. Alright. Looks like we should hopefully be getting ourselves an interview here with one of the Tricky Gooses.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for coming for the interview. That was a very powerful series from you guys. You got to be feeling good about that.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about this. So looking into the series, you were 13 right now in the standings, and House of Chez sitting at number 14. So I know I was definitely expecting a pretty close series. What were your guys' thoughts coming into this one?
I mean, we've had a lot of matches that were really close. Almost all of our matches were 2-1, and literally we had some that we lost by 1 point on Towers of Doom. So, I mean, there was some games where I don't think our record shows justice for our team.
Definitely. So, looking at House of Chez, I noticed very consistently you guys were able to punish their focus on the late game. Was that something that you guys were paying attention to, or do you guys just normally like to play around that getting ahead early macro pressure?
Yeah, I looked at all their games that they played so far this season and saw a lot of focus on Li Ming from Dude and Mephisto from Flash and Kane on Caribou. So with them locking Kane and then Mephisto and Curse, they're both late game. They're kind of useless until 10. The healing from Kane wouldn't be there, so we figured we can just try to run him over and keep early, and it worked. We got that first Curse, and then I don't think we looked back from there. And then the second game, they didn't do it as bad, because I know the first game there was the Zeratul too. So we were like Zeratul, Kel'Thuzad, or Mephisto, like we weren't really worried about the late game. And then this one, Kel'Thuzad and Nazeebo, same thing. We knew it would be a late game if we didn't get caught out early and just kept it evenish. That hopefully we'd be able to roll a little bit of a lead around the mid game and then close it out before it got to that point.
And that definitely showed. I gotta compliment you guys. You did a really great job, and obviously in some ways it just kind of worked out this way. But both games, getting your first objective as you got level 10 and having a lead there, got you guys a huge advantage both games. Just really solid play there. Don't have really that much to other than that to address, but I do always ask, if you had to give an MVP to someone on either team for this series, who would you give it to?
I think I got to give it to Key on our team. He's just one of the best supports we've ever played with. When we practice and he's not there and we have somebody else fill in, you could just see the difference for our team. He's also a voice of reason when all of us are aggressive and want blood, playing characters like Greymane and Leap Sonya. Sometimes you need somebody to reel that back sometimes and just say, all right, that's enough, just back up. And he does that for us.
Definitely. He had some clutch plays. He had a great Divine Shield in the second game there, and I got the virulent reaction really that snowballed the game completely into your control in the first game. So I definitely agree with you on that one. But thanks for coming in. Thanks for the series. The floor is yours for any shout-outs.
Just shout out to our team. Shout out to our fill-ins for practice, Pat, Sean, Pilot. Shout out to, I know my wife was watching the stream.
Nice.
She's out there supporting us, and so is our other guys, fiance, girlfriend, so on, so on.
All right. Well, thank you for coming out, for having me as your caster. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, that's going to be it for me for the evening. This was my one cast. We do have another coming in, I believe, on Saturday, so not tomorrow, but the day after. Going to be a Division 3 cast there. But great series. Definitely a showcase of some excellent play from the side of Tricky Gooses. Playing around their draft very well. Playing around... as I always forget, always goof this one up. Playing around the enemy team's draft very well. I know stomps aren't always the most enjoyable to watch, but I always enjoy seeing teams that know how to execute their drafts and know the weaknesses of their enemy team. So great stuff from them. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to head out. Thank you everyone who came. Let me actually check real quick, see who we have live at the current moment so that we can maybe get a raid going. Let's see here. Hopefully not going to blow out any ears here. And we do have a cast going on. You know what? Let's get into that. I'm going to go ahead and raid us over to another caster here. Another newer caster like me. But go ahead and show him some love. Thank you everyone for coming out. See you later.